So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Summer of Ocarina. And in this video I wanted to talk about why Ocarina of Time needs a remake. And obviously this video has been done before, but I want to kind of put my little spin on it, right? And so I'm actually just out in my truck right now on lunch recording this video, so please excuse the poor quality. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, so anyways, I think Ocarina of Time actually does deserve a remake and needs one. This is kind of goes against a lot of mainstream opinion, but I think the remake is more so for us veteran players, right? Us players that have been playing the game since the late 90s, and we've beaten the game, I don't know, at least once. Some of us have beaten it, dozens of times, myself included. And when I usually play Ocarina of Time, I usually like to play not the vanilla version, right? So I like to play ROM hacks, and I like to play randomizers, but I recently went through and did a vanilla playthrough of Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo Switch 2 online service. And I gotta say, it just didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same as some of the ROM hacks, some of the randomizers, and it definitely didn't hit the same as the first, at least 10 times I played the game. And I think for us veteran players, which I'm sure is going to be a large chunk of the audience that purchased this game, a refresh is sorely needed, right? Now, don't get me wrong, the game is still a masterpiece, and it's still my favorite game of all time. Don't get me wrong. Know that Ninepenny hasn't changed on that. But I would really love to see a fresh take on it. I'm not going to lie. Like, the problem with my latest playthrough of Ocarina of Time is I didn't really stop the smell of flowers, right? I kind of just tore through it, and maybe that's on me. But I think, when I was a kid and when I was playing the game, I would frequently find myself stuck at certain parts of the game, right? And that was before the internet was widely available. I mean, it was kind of in its infancy. So if you got stuck, you either had to look it up in one of those old school strategy guides, or you had to go on like the primitive version of the internet, or ask your friends at the playground how to get past a certain area. And oftentimes they wouldn't even know. So with that being said, part of the magic, I think, of your first playthrough of Ocarina of Time is just getting stuck, right, and not knowing what to do next, and then venturing off on your own little side quest to get stronger and gather more pieces of heart, and just kind of explore Hyrule and take in the sights, and explore every little nook and cranny. I didn't really get to experience that in this playthrough as much as I'd liked. Right, I mean, I have limited time nowadays, so I kind of just beelined it through the game, and I went through and did all the temples fairly quickly, and I kind of have memorized now all the puzzles and the strategies to beat every boss. I don't think I died once during the game, which is really unfortunate. I'd love to be challenged to some degree, and that's why I love the ROM hacks so much and the randomizers. Right, if you're a veteran of the game and you've played the game many times, I highly recommend checking out the Ultimate Trial ROM hack. I want to shout out the creators of it because they did an amazing job. It's a Zelda roguelike, and in the game, it tells an interesting story of Link post Ocarina of Time and post Majora's Mask as he goes through these challenges. And the ending of the game actually had me a little emotional. I'm not going to lie, it almost brought a tear to my eye, which is rare to do from a game these days. So props to them for making a masterpiece of a ROM hack. But regardless, during my latest playthrough, I realized that the game isn't just isn't flawless, right? It has its issues, right? In particular, we're talking about Hyrule Field, how completely empty it feels, and people have made a lot of videos about this, and yeah, they're absolutely right. It does feel pretty barren. There is not a whole lot to do there, and I think Hyrule Field is actually the biggest piece they could capitalize on when it comes to the upcoming remake that's coming out later this year. And I actually think they're going to greatly, I have no doubt that they're going to greatly improve Hyrule Field and make it something worth exploring, and adding interesting points and interesting things to do in that area. But then also the towns as well. Some of the towns are alright, but when it comes to, like, I don't know, the Goron Village and Zora's Domain, they really do feel kind of scarce. Like, there's really just not a whole lot to do there. I think with the Goron Village, you have like the bomb bowling or bomb basketball mini game, which is just one little piece. And then the same thing with the Zora area, right? You have the diving mini game, and that's really about it. Of course, you have the respective shops in each area, which is fine, right? They're serviceable, and they were actually pretty cool for the time. I mean, this was back in 1998. This was fairly groundbreaking stuff, but things have evolved so much beyond that, and I really just can't wait to see what they do in the new game and how they really liven up Zora's Domain and Goron City, and then a few of the other areas, right? I think there's so much room for improvement there. Yeah, I think in general the overworld is probably my biggest complaint. We're always really feeling it in the game. I think the dungeons themselves are still masterpieces. I find it funny how I appreciate the water temple so much more than I did back in the day. Right, the water temple went from being one of my least favorite dungeons to probably being my most favorite because he was the only one that even I feel like somewhat challenged me in the game as an adult, and for that aspect, I appreciate it. You have the spirit temple, right? Absolute masterpiece of a temple, right? The atmosphere and the vibes in that temple are unmatched. And then you also have the other, the big hitter, which is the forest temple, and playing through the forest temple, as lovely as always, that temple will forever be a masterpiece. And I really enjoyed it on my latest playthrough, and it makes me so much more curious to see what they're going to do with the forest temple in Ocarina of Time Remake 2026, and how much of that they're going to touch. Really good temple. Fire Temple, probably the weakest out of all the adult dungeons, and I think it probably has the most room for improvement. They actually made a video on how they could, possibly do that. But I think if they just fix these, the few little flaws that the game has, I think that it'll be in pretty good shape. And I'm not just trying to hate on the game, right? It's still my favorite game of all time, and it's my favorite Zelda game, right? But my latest playthrough on the Switch 2, it made me realize that there are issues, and that the people that do criticize it, they're valid to some extent, right? I just don't want to be blurred by my rose-colored glasses. I think that they definitely have some valid claims as to why the game isn't shouldn't be overly glazed. But on the other hand, like, you have people that go and play the game in the modern day, do blind playthroughs, and they absolutely love it too. So I mean, it goes to show that it really stands the test of time. It just has a few issues it needs to hammer out, and I think we're in pretty good shape. And then you have the visuals. The visuals on the N64 weren't horrible, right? And they upgraded them in the 3DS, and they improved some things and made other things worse, such as they made everything brighter. I played that recently too, and Castletown was markedly brighter, and so was Ganon's Castle, which uh, kind of muted some of the vibes of the original game. But I'm really excited to see what they do with a more realistic, art direction for this one, right? Like a stylized realism. I think that's actually the perfect choice they could have chosen for this game. So yeah, I definitely do think Ocarina of Time needs and deserves a remake, and I'm really glad that it's getting one. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Um, do you think Ocarina of Time needs a remake, or do you think it deserves one, or do you think that it probably could have been just fine, being untouched and not having a remake and having only the N64 and 3DS versions? And they did such a great job with some of the PC mods, and there's so many ways and flavors to play Ocarina of Time. Also in the comment section below, let me know what your favorite way to play Ocarina of Time is, because I'm really curious. Right? Do you guys like a good old vanilla version on Switch Online, or do you like hooking up your old N64 and playing it that way, or do you like busting out your 3DS and playing the newer version? Let me know for sure. It's always fun to talk Ocarina with you guys. Right. Anyways, guys, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the summer, and we're getting so close. We're right there, right on the cusp. So if you guys, enjoy these videos, please do consider subscribing. It'll really help me out, help me make that final push across 1,000 subs. Right. And if you like these videos, please do drop a like. It helps me get, more engagement and more and seen by the algorithm. Which, honestly, it's been a rough August. So I I appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and engagement I can get. You guys are awesome. All right, until next time, this has been Matt from Top Tier. I'm out. Bye.